Legoo YouTube, what is up everybody, it's your boy Raj here, and today I'm going to be teaching you about the ADC that got me into playing ADC, my girl Ashe. You might be wondering what Ashe is. Well, she's a crowd control oriented AD carry because of her global ultimate. She does really well late game, but she's not very mobile or bursty, yet she can still perma slow a champion because of her endless kiting, and she has great range, leaving her a good distance away from the enemy champions so she doesn't get hurt. So for her skills, what you want to start off with is her W, because it's a great technique to use for farming and for harassing the enemy team. Then you want to get your Q, then your E. The Q helps harass as well, while the E helps show visibility to where the enemies are. Okay, so let's get into what her skills actually do. Let's start off with her passive. Her passive is focus, and what it does is, while out of combat, Ashe's critical strike chance increases every 3 seconds for her next attack. In my opinion, this is not the greatest passive, because in combat, let's say when you're in a team fight, it doesn't really do much, but while you're chasing, it does a pretty good amount, because, well, that is depending on how long you're chasing them. Next is your frost shot. You want to use this whenever there's a champion that's overextending, or if you're trying to run away from a champion, because it does slow the champion for about 2 seconds each time you hit them. And with that said, it also drains mana, so you don't want to have this on for the entirety of the game, or you're going to lose your mana really fast while just fighting minions, and you're going to need your mana for when you're in team fights. Then we have your volley. This is great with farming in lane and keeping a lot of pressure against your enemy champions, because it has a great poke. But you don't want to overuse this, because it will starve Ashe of her mana, and you don't want that, just like I said with her Q. Next is Hawkshine. Like I said earlier, it's used to reveal any part of the map depending on the range. It can be used to reveal Dragon or Baron, or any part of the jungle to help out champions like Nidalee, to get a skill shot in to help your team out. And it also gives you a gold bonus, so you can get more gold than the enemy champion that you're laning against, so it's pretty good. And then we have Ashe's Crystal Arrow, which is amazing at initiating for team fights because it stuns the person it hits and slows the people around him. It's really hard to hit though, especially when you're trying to get a single target, so you have to keep practicing to get that. The farther the arrow travels, the more it's gonna stun the player, so you're gonna want to try some really crazy stuff with the arrow as much as possible. Yes, you're probably gonna miss from time to time, but you know, practice makes perfect, right? So here's what you guys have been probably waiting for about the whole video now, and that's Ashe's build. What you want to build on Ashe in the opening is a Doran's Blade, because she has a very strong level 1. It allows you to push up on lane and get a really good early lane advantage, and if you really need to get some sustain, then you can go back and get a Vamp Scepter. Depending on how much gold you have, you should really get some damage later on, and with that you should buy a pickaxe or a BF sword and some boots so you can get some more mobility. Sit on the BF sword or the pickaxe and get a Shiv later on. It allows you to split push very quickly and then force pressure in other lanes with the arrow. Your mid game goal is not to fight 5v5s, but to pick off people with the arrow while securing farm with split push. Later on, late game is when you should get into the 5v5s. You should have already upgraded your boots to Berzerker Grieves, but before team fights, attach Farrar, and it will help your team in the long run. Your endgame goals are an Infinity Edge, a Last Whisper, and a Bloodthirster. Some defensive items that you should use for people that engage really well is Banshee's Veil, and if the enemy team has suppression and CC, you should get a Mercurial Scimitar. And if the enemy team is very tanky and will always run at you no matter what happens, get Bio Warmogs so you have more sustain. Also, late game, if you really need to just finish everybody off, then get a little more boost, you should sell your Zerks and consider buying a Zephyr. You lose around 20 MS, but you gain a considerable amount of stats. So next we have her runes, and for her runes you want to get flat 80 marks, flat 80 quintessence, flat armor seals, and flat magic resist glyphs. Flat 80 marks because it's better for last hitting, and you want armor because it's necessary to lane. The magic resist is to help you be strong in lane and throughout the game. And now on to the Masteries. What I do for Ashe's Masteries is go offensive 21, defensive 5, and utility 4. The reason I go utility 4 is because since I get Flash as one of the summoner spells, I get Summoner's Insight and I get Meditation because Ashe is very reliable with good mana regen. She really needs a lot of mana, so I thought, why not get some Meditation? And I got Durability and Summoner's Resolve in defense because I also get Cleanse, because it takes away all your debuffs and anything on Ashe while you're in a fight. Like, let's say Tark stuns you, you need to use Cleanse so that you don't get jumped on. And Durability because it gives you health until up to level 18. Okay, so before we end this off, let's talk about some tactics that have to do with Ashe. With Ashe, you want to focus on getting CS during your laning phase because a lot of champions are very strong against Ashe, and if you try to be over aggressive, then you could either screw up your whole team or just you and your support, but in the end it will be your whole team. In fights, don't try to rush in. What you want to do is to work your way to the back of their line, so kill the people in the front, then get to the back. Usually your teammates will be the ones to get to the back before you, and you don't want to get CC burst. Avoid champions with a lot of CC, like I just said with the team fight thing, because they will severely do stuff to Ashe and it won't be good. What you want to do with your crystal arrow is to try to initiate, because it's probably one of the best initiates in the game, and you want to warn your allies before you do it so that they know like when to go in, and try to look for the best opportunities, because if you miss, then it could severely screw up a team fight and you don't want that. So that's pretty much it for my guide, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the like button below and hit the subscribe button for more. I will catch you guys in the next guide or the next funny video. Don't forget to watch some ganks.